Just remember to mute your mic. And tell me when I can roll. Great. Hey folks, I'm John Jennings with Royer Labs. I'm one of the founders of the company and been handling sales and marketing forever. Kevin Parker handles our sales now, so I get to focus more on the marketing, which is more about teaching about ribbon microphones and what we do. And one of the great advantages of my job that makes it such a fun job is that I get to spend a lot of time in studios, and I've been on a zillion sessions. I've watched so much music go down, and I've seen ribbons used in an extraordinary different amount of different kinds of ways. What we're going to do today is we're going to do some listening. I've got some things to some ear candy to check out, some videos to watch of some sessions going down. We'll probably do this for a half an hour or so. And if you have any questions, please send them in on the chat. But I'll tell you some stories of some things that I've seen in these sessions. And let me take a quick look here at what we're gonna do. We have an audio video library at Royer Labs that is just packed with a lot of material recorded on ribbon mics. Some of it you can hear a mix, and then you can actually go in and listen to the isolated tracks. Let's say if it's a heavy guitar thing like Cold Chamber, you can listen to the mix, it's big and powerful. Then you can listen to the guitars by themselves, drum mix by itself, or at least where the ribbon was involved. Same thing with King's X or big band stuff. Gordon Goodwin and a big fat band and so forth. So I'm just going to go through some things. If there's anything in particular you'd like me to focus on, a particular instrument or anything, send it in on the chat, and I'll find something like that. I made some notes of some of my favorite moments, and I want to show you. Tim Pierce is an outstanding session guitarist. You've heard him on a zillion records over the past few decades. He's one of the most recorded guitarists in the world. He's played with everybody, and he did a great video series for us on recording with ribbons. So if you go to our library page, audio video, you're going to see some various videos. There's Greg Wells, nice video on recording with ribbon mics. There's Slash, did some solo work for us. Here's Tim Pierce in his guitar pod. I call it the guitar pod because he gets to sit in this. It's like a spaceship just surrounded with amps and get pretty much any sound he wants. So let me just see what we're going to pull up here. Let's do some Tim Pierce heavy guitars. He talks a bit about his tone and then does some playing. Here you go.
This is a situation where the 57 and the Royer sound really good at equal volume. They're good companions in this situation, I think. Let's listen. Let's listen to these mics separately. 57. Royer. Now let me put them together.
Woo! Tim is just an outstanding guitarist. He can hit so many styles, and that was some heavier stuff. He likes to use a 122V. The 121 is like the guitar amp microphone, but a 122V is the tube version of that. And he likes it. It's got a little more gliss. It's like a little fairy dust on a 121 practically. Mixes that with a 57, and then you saw what he was getting there sonically. Let's check this out. This is going back to the top of the page, Andrew Swinowick is a session player who Tim Pierce actually helped get into the business. And Andrew, one of the things he's got going is he plays a lot of different acoustic vibey instruments, and people ask him to lay these parts down, and he's just got a wall full of different instruments, and he can play them all well. So we'll listen to a couple of different things that that he has done. Let me just get my times here. Here we go. So what Andrew does for all these instruments that he records acoustically, he's got a pair of 122 Mark IIs. That's our phantom-powered ribbon microphones with the bass cut and pad built in. And he just keeps the two of them on a stereo bar, swings them around for every instrument, swings them back when he's done. And that's how he records all of the acoustic instruments in his place. He has the pads, not the pads, he has the high passes engaged to cut out everything from 100 hertz and below at about 60 dB per octave. It's a really nice sounding high pass, and he uses it religiously. So let's go a little further into his video. He plays a few different instruments, starting with a Taylor guitar, and then he talks a bit about his methodology. Let's check this out. Let's go to right about here. Here we go.
So the Mark IIs are great because they have a low cut, and basically that it just means it gets rid of any kind of rumble that's going to come through that you don't want on your recording. I just engage it and it's always on. I never turn it off.
I just want to cut in really quick. We're going to continue with Andrew, but what I wanted to mention is Royer has really become known as like the electric guitar and trumpet and high SPL microphone line. You can really use this to great effect in rock music, pop, all sorts of stuff. But I'm showing you this because there's so much use in the acoustic world too. You know, Joshua Bell, the great violin player, always has a Royer SF2 above his head. Adam Abeshouse is always using SF2s inside his piano. Arturo Sandoval is always, well, we're back to trumpet. I'm going to show you some of that too. But I love that Andrew Swinowick's playing here. It's great acoustic stuff, and he uses this in session work all the time, his pair of 122s. You can hear what that sounds like. Yeah, let's get back to that.
One thing I like is they're really easy to position. So if I'm doing acoustics, they're right here. If I do electrics, I swing them out of the way. Acoustic stuff, swing them back in. And they have a really wide sweet spot too. So if I'm recording something and then I send it off and then I get some feedback like, oh no, the last chord needs to be this, I can come back in a week later and sit down and punch it, and it doesn't sound like a punch. I mean, there's never an issue with that kind of thing.
So there's some Andrew Swinowick. I really enjoy his playing. Let's check out a couple other things here. Richard Chicky is going to be with us tomorrow at, I think it's 2:00 Pacific time. And he's a great engineer. I met him when he was recording Aerosmith, Just Push Play back in like 1999. And recently, a couple years ago, or a few years ago, he did Dream Theater's The Astonishing. And then he was talking about how he uses Warriors on that. Let me just show you in the library here a little video that we have of Richard talking about that. And then you'll hear a little bit of the recording too.
Royer 121s on guitar, in tandem with the Mojave 301, is the core of John Petrucci's guitar sound for The Astonishing. Literally could not be an easier task to get great guitar sounds. Sort of the well-renowned, the 121 method of drop it in, find the sweet spot, give it a bit of a twist till it sounds great, and that method works. Never fought it. It's tried and true.
Pretty amazing guitar sound. A lot of Royers on those drums too, and Mojave Audio. Mojave is our sister company. You know, Royer is known for the ribbons, but Dave Royer has a lot of condenser designs too. And so we opened Mojave to let him scratch that itch, as it were. Okay, let's check out a different kind of a vibe. We were at Folk Alliance some years ago, and just recorded some bands that came through this room that we had set up. We had a pop-up studio set up, and had some bands come through, kind of bluegrassy, but this wasn't bluegrass. It was just different kind of a vibe. Let me just play you a recording of a couple of fiddles and some foot percussion. No, let me get back here. And we're going to pick this up. Come on. Look out. So just what they've got are on each of the fiddles, they've got an SF2 ribbon microphone, and then for his feet percussion, just a slab he was carrying with him to tap on. We had a pair of Mojave Audio microphones. So we get a little bit of this vibe. I love this feel. I mean, these guys just come into this room and do that. It was so much energy. I loved it. Really did. It's such kind of a fun feel. I'm kind of bouncing all over the map here because that's fun to do. Arturo Sandoval is really considered by a lot of people the world's greatest living trumpet player. And Arturo always uses a Royer R122. It's the phantom powered ribbon microphone. And then when he's recording, he'll put an SF24 stereo ribbon further back in the room and just pick up a little bit of the size of that and blend that with his mic. It's pretty nice. So let's check out Arturo. On this one, I'm going to play. He came to Sweetwater with us on our 10-year anniversary of being with them, and literally took a big band track that he had recorded for a record and took his trumpet part out and then just played something. He just wailed on it. So I'm going to play you some Arturo playing trumpet, and then from the same day, some Arturo playing piano. So in this case, he's playing trumpet on his 122 with the SF24 further back in the room. Go. And then we picked it up. Okay, so then he goes over and he starts playing some piano. And this was a piece he wrote. And it's just, how does one guy play two instruments so well? It's just amazing to be there in the room with him. So what he's got is a pair of Mojave Audio MA300s, sort of at the top and the bottom of the piano. And in the center there, in a position where it's looking over the whole soundboard, is a Royer SF24 stereo ribbon microphone. There you go. Arturo Sandoval. Like I said, one of the best parts of my gig is the musicians I get to spend time around. Just amazing, and you get to listen to this stuff going down. Arturo is just a genius. So, and he's been very kind to Royer over the years. He's always been there for these kinds of things, and used this on a lot of his records. So, let me get over to something else. It would be kind of fun. Whole different kind of a thing. There's a cello track that Holly Brooke, Skylar Gray, Ross Hogarth was recording her, and Ross has recorded some of my favorite heavy stuff, but he also records some of my favorite, just acoustic with feel music. I think he won both his Grammys with Capmo. But in this piece, a cello player just overdubbed 4 or 5 times on a single 122. And so this is just a lot of cellos stacked up with Skylar Grey singing on top of this. I think it's beautiful.
The road is long before me now. The memories beg me to stay. But lonely is born from pride I find. So I'll reach out. All will be forgotten. Every tear you've cried, as soon as you awaken to what's right in front of your eyes, standing by your side.
So what we've been saying at Royer for years, you see it in our ads, you see it on our website, is here's like your ears, meaning ribbons hear instruments more like the human ear than any other kind of microphone. Physically, they don't operate anything at all like the human ear, but in terms of the way they pick up sound, if you want something to record the way it sounds in the room, put up a ribbon. I mean, if you need more high-end excitement, if you need more cut and detail, you put up a nice condenser for the vocal track to cut through, sometimes for your cymbals to really rock out on rock tracks or pop tracks. But I was a guitarist for years, and I used to love standing in front of my amp, and I used to hate going to the control room because it never sounded the same. Sometimes it wasn't remotely like what I was doing at the amplifier. You could make it work a lot of times, but you couldn't really get that sound. With a good ribbon mic, and not the cheap ones, but with the decent ribbon mic, you can be at an instrument, get it in the right place, get the mic in the right place, go in the control room, and it's like you're standing in front of the instrument. And it's really a great experience for a musician to put that time and investment of money and time and working out their chops and getting their tone together, and then go in the control room once you've recorded and hear that all coming back at you. It's great. So I love that about that cello. The cello was so warm in that track and sounded so sweet, and it just you have all that stuff. It's like you're standing in front of the instrument, or all 5 recordings of that instrument. It was really nice. So let's get back to our library and listen to something else. Let me take a quick look. I wrote a few things down that I wanted to check out in particular. Y'all know this song by Rascal Flatts, Life is a Highway. Great song. This song is a party. Just put it on and there's the party. But what's interesting about this is you have like 4 different guitars. He starts on this kind of chunky guitar, then heavy guitar riffs come in, another heavy guitar does some stuff, then a soloist comes in. And normally you'd really have to work to separate these guitars in a mix and to really get them to stand out. The engineer on this session told me because he recorded them with ribbons, he did the great mix of a 121 and a 57. You put the 2 microphones together, and you blend the 2 to taste. So all these guitars were cut with the 121-57 blend, and listen to how much personality each of these guitars have and how great they sound. It's wonderful.
travel on. There's one day here and the next day gone.
Love that song. So just doing some listening here, and if you'd like to spend more time in the library, there are a couple of hundred tracks in there. It's a great place to just get to know how ribbons work on your instrument, if you're a violinist or a guitarist or something. It's funny, really, we were just going to start doing some listening today, and the more I thought about it, the more I thought, let me just turn you on to the library, because you can go in there and learn so much. So I think we'll wrap this now at 2 o'clock. 2 o'clock? Yeah, we're going to have at 2 o'clock, we're going to have Russ Long here with us. No, I'm sorry, Ross Hogarth. Ross is killer engineer. We were just listening to some of his work, dear friend of mine. And we're going to do some, just going to have a conversation, kind of a happy hour, talk about some recordings of his, listening to some music. And that's going to be a good time. I'm getting pinged by the office. We're going to wrap this up now. And thanks for spending some time with us. I hope you enjoy and believe in Music Week. Take care.